Okay, this question, they ask us to draw a simple diagram to show the arrangement of particles in copper coin and oxygen gas. Okay, so the expected answer, suppose teacher's answer is like this. And let's take a look at what are the considerations in drawing the arrangement of particles in a copper coin. When you are drawing particles in a solid, the particles should be closely packed, should have a regular pattern, and should be touching each other. But however, in this case I have used the Word document, the computer, so therefore for me I can get identical particles. But when you are drawing, the particle size may not be identical, since you just use your hand. So now let's take a look at what are the different answers provided by different students and how to improve our answers. Okay. Usually we draw the particles in circular shape. So now you can see that this student's answer, you can see some flat and some circular shape that are not identical atoms. Okay, so therefore in this case, let's see how do we improve this answer. If you really have a lot of problem in drawing the identical particles, I suggest you use a dotted diagram like this. A given container you can divide into compartments, and each compartment you are supposed to show just one particle. In this way, you can make sure that your particles are identical. Let's take a look at this student's answer. He has actually tried to use the dotted diagram to guide himself, but what happened is that over here his particle is actually exceed the dotted line. So therefore there's no point of drawing this dotted line. At the end it does not guide him at all, so that the next particle is smaller in size, and this particle is very big. Since we have discussed a lot of wrong answers so far, let's take a look at how do we get a good answer. Okay, once again this student has used guided grid or the dotted lines. He able to obtain not so identical, but however this is acceptable for lower secondary level. Another student, this is also acceptable because I understand that it is really inconvenient for you to fill up the whole container, so you just show me 3 rows will do. In this case, the student never even drawn the grid. He actually just has indicated 3 rows over here, so which have guided him to draw the particles correctly. Now let's go back to the oxygen gas, the gas particles, from the solid to the gas. When you are drawing particles in gas, what are the considerations? Particles should not be touching each other. Particles are not arranged regularly, or in other words, we call this a random arrangement. So the teacher's answer will look like this. Now I'm going to show you one good example of a student. In this case, the particles are randomly arranged. They have spread around the container. This particle looks bigger compared to other particles, but however, it is still at the acceptable level. Some students even use the grid to guide themselves. What's wrong with this? In this diagram, it shows that the particles at the top is there are no particles at the top layer. So therefore, this is not a random arrangement, because that we know that the oxygen gas particles will spread around take the shape of the whole container. So therefore, it will spread around the whole container. Therefore, this is not acceptable. Okay, what are the other considerations in drawing the solid and gas particles? Another common misconceptions. Solid particles. So this student actually he or she does not show the understanding of the gravity. Understanding of the gravity. The reason is because in this case all the particles are arranged at the top layer. There are no particles at the bottom layer. But you know that in a solid, the particles will be first arranged at the bottom layer, followed by the top layer. So therefore, the particles should move to the bottom. So therefore, this is not acceptable.